So, we're going to be discussing a What Is This episode based on creepypasta. I know I made a creepypasta video not too long ago. What's up, little androids? SonicFanGal here. If you haven't heard of me before, be sure you check out my other pages as I have more content. Also, be sure you guys read some of my books from Wattpad. I've got some of them that I've just completed not too long ago, and I've also got a story called Snownado. If you guys haven't heard that one, you should probably give it a read. It's kind of thrilling, and I post it every Monday, so be sure you guys check it out. So, today's episode is on Jeff the Killer. And this is a What Is This episode. What Is This is where we discuss fandoms, fan fiction, fan art, all that fun, glorious thing. So Jeff the Killer started out back around 2008, and it originally was supposed to be like this Photoshop picture of this woman, but somebody like turned her into like the Joker thing. So Jeff the Killer has raised an entire generation. Like this smile face Joker look-alike guy. And some girls had a crush on him. Not naming any names. Yeah. Okay, fine. I was one of those girls. So, Jeff the Killer is the original creepypasta, for those of you who have never heard the creepypasta, it is a young boy who moved into a new town, I think, and him and his brother were getting bullied. Jeff beat up the bullies. Lou took the blame, and so Lou went to jail. Jeff was kind of just around. So he went to this party where the same bullies were for some reason. It was some kid's birthday party, and for some reason everybody of every age was there. I don't know. I guess the town was really small. So Jeff then, he goes down into the basement, tries to fight them off. The bullies then pour bleach on him and set him on fire. His brother actually got out of prison, I think. And he does what every normal person would do, and he burns his brother's eyelids. Like, you've been burned alive, so here's a lighter, I'll burn your eyelids off. What did that do? I don't know if they were like melted over his eyes or what, but I don't know. So then Jeff wakes up in the hospital. His face is like horribly deformed. His whole body is horribly deformed. And for some reason, everybody always thinks he's white, like albino. I don't know how they think a fire could do that. I mean, bleach is flammable, but when somebody gets struck on fire, they don't turn white. They turn black. Charcoal black. But, I mean, it's a story. Also, for those of you who didn't know this, Jeff is 14 canonically. Yeah, I didn't know that either. So Jeff, then he gets home, and I think he has like a mental breakdown where he finally just loses it. Like, he's just so ticked off at the world and wants to watch the world burn, so to speak. So he grabs a kitchen knife from the kitchen, of course, carves a smile into his face, and I think does some more things with his eyelids, or what was his eyelids. His mom comes in on this macabre scene, and her son looks back at her and says, "Mommy, aren't I beautiful?" And to which the mom is just like, yeah, you're great. She then gets the dad, the husband, and then Jeff comes in there and kills both of them. I can't remember if he killed Lou or not. It's been a while since I've seen the original story. So, that's also how the creepypasta Homicidal Lou became a thing, because people are in theory that maybe Jeff didn't kill Lou, or maybe Lou's dead, but he's like a ghost. If you've seen Mr. Creepypasta's voices of Jeff and all his Jeff videos, Jeff actually does grow up. He does get older, and that's how him and Jane meet. Jane, like, pretended to be some hooker or something. Like, when you go down the rabbit hole of Jeff the Killer and what his whole story actually is, it can be a little bit confusing. And I've gone down that rabbit hole so many times, it's unreal. So we're going to look at some fan art today of Jeff. And I can't really credit somebody that I don't know. Like, these are just random Google searches. So I'm not sitting there purposely making fun of people. So this is all open, so please don't go and bully the artists if you do know them, because I don't know them, and I'm just putting it on there. There are some pictures of Jeff that actually look really good, really decent. Some people like to cosplay as Jeff, and to me, those are actually kind of cool. There's also this one guy a long time ago, I forget his name now, but he used to do, like, creepypasta voices, and it sounded really good. And there's also been, like, some people that think Jeff the Killer is sexy, and that's some of the fan art I'm going to talk about today. Yeah. So here's some glorious pictures of Jeff. For some reason, he has a six-pack. I mean, going around beating up on people is quite a workout, I assume. But the actual canon story of Jeff the Killer is actually pretty horrifying. As a 14-year-old girl, has always looked at Jeff and thought, my future husband. I can remember, like, I was 12 years old when I first really found out what creepypasta was. 12 or 11. But, like, I was at homeschool, like, I was homeschooled, and we went to this homeschool group at this church. And I had a friend, I'm not going to say her name, but her name is JV. We'll do that, junior varsity. JV looked at me and asked me if I've ever heard of the Slender Man. I'm like, no. And then she shows me, like, all this crap on Slender Man, including porn. Yeah. And she's like, oh, he's so cool. I'm like, yeah, it's so cool, buddy. And then I get home and I'm, like, looking up Slender Man because I'm, like, really interested. And that's also how I found out about marble hornets. Well, then, in the related tabs on Google, it says Jeff the Killer. I'm like, I've got to look that up. Curiosity always kills the cat. So I looked him up, and I saw this image. Oh, man, I can tell you what, I never, ever, like, just left Google that quickly before. And when I was a young kid, I was like, holy cow, that's terrifying. I never want to see that again. That was so disturbing. He's kind of cute, though. So I guess that's what happened to me. I guess I became a Jeff the Killer fangirl that way. As I've said in the previous creepypasta thing, there's also been a lot of thirsty kids on the Wikipedia of Jeff. Always talk about how horny they are for him and how much they want him and want to hug him because he's such a small, cute little bean and all this. I've read pretty much every fan fiction of Jeff the Killer there is, including one by John Wolfe. If you guys don't know who that is, it's a gamer. But, like, Jeff is, like, he raised an entire generation. And I don't know if the creator of Jeff actually knows that or not. There's even a new game out recently called John Doe, I think is the name of it. I'll put it right here so you guys can see it. It's basically where this guy is like some cannibalistic serial killer and literally you, is, that's your player. And they try to figure out, what decision to make in order to either avoid this guy or fall in love with him. I don't know. But even the creator said that he had no idea who Jeff the Killer was. I'm like, how can you not? Like, are you not on the internet? So Jeff is not for children, but children look him up anyway. Yeah. But, like, there's been so many games made of Jeff. There's been videos made of Jeff. MMDs made of Jeff, as we saw in the last video. And, that video. So, Jeff is always holding a special place in all our hearts. Because he's kind of like one of the sexy creepypasta boys that all of us girls fell in love with and made fan fiction about and drew porn of him. Those were the days. So on another side note of this, I decided to make this part anyway. This is kind of like a side note thing, kind of off topic. But I've heard that there's this woman, or like these people that are boycotting Poppy's Playtime. It's a new game that's trying to come out, and I can't wait for chapter 2. But like, people are saying Huggy Wuggy is like horrible for kids, and that kids shouldn't be on it. It's like, yeah, it's a horror game. What do you think is gonna be on it? Oh man, I'm just like appalled by the people that just let their kids view whatever. It's like, how about just don't do that? Like, I mean, I remember being a kid. Back then, there was more stuff on the internet. It was way more open than it kind of is now. But, like, I can remember so much crap I saw, and my family had no idea. Well, my dad did, but he was the only one. I was always using my grandfather's computer to look up stuff, and that's how I found the stuff I have found over the years. I was into memes before it was cool. Well, I'll just put it that way. Because I think I was making memes back then. I was like 5 or 6 years old when I was doing that. But like, I'm amazed by like people getting all upset because of kids being all sensitive and everything. And it's like, do you not even know what some of us kids were raised on growing up? Like, wow. I mean, Jeff the Killer is being one of those prime examples, and then people get scared. They're like, oh my goodness, my kid is doing this, and they're gonna, like, get exposed, and and it's like, dude, it's a horror character. What do you think it's gonna be? I mean, of course there's gonna be blood and gore and stuff. It's horror. It's scary. That's the point. I mean, it's basically the equivalent of dressing your kid up as Ghostface for Halloween. It's the equivalent of that. And then it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know why my child is so disturbed. It's like, your kid's not really disturbed. They just like horror things. I mean, I liked horror things. I turned out just fine. Side note's over. But I'm just amazed at what all has been made about Jeff. And reading like all their fan fiction, reading all this stuff on Jeff. Oh, there's some nice fan fictions out there about Jeff, and then there's some that are just downright cringe. Downright cringe. So, what do I think of Jeff now, looking now as an adult, when his whole everything was made back when I was a kid? When I was a kid, I was terrified about him, but at the same time, I had like this big major crush on him. But now as an adult, I'm always like, you know, his personality, the way he was before, and his gruff everything is like, that's the pure amount of edge. And Jeff isn't really scary to me anymore. Because for one thing, like I said before about the bleach thing, it's physically impossible for somebody to just turn albino because I pour bleach on themselves. I mean, it's basically the same equivalent to like putting Clorox bleach in your hair thinking it's going to turn blonde. And it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I've done that. Hey, come on, I was a kid. Goodness. But Other than that, though, about Jeff, like I said, there's been so much crap made about him. It's just insane. My favorites are also the Yowie fan art that likes to be made about Jeff. I always sometimes, if the creepypasta characters were real, I always wonder, how would they actually react? Because some people know Danny Gonzalez. And I watched this video of him and his friend Drew react to this fan fiction that somebody made. And the entire time while we're reading about Danny doing sexual things in the book, he's just sitting there like this, kind of like, I don't like this. But I do wonder, though, it's like, how would people actually react to their fan fiction, like their own fan fiction about them? It would just feel weird. I couldn't imagine. And I'm not saying that gives you free reign to write about me. Believe me, I do that enough. I don't need that wrote about me. So, on that note, and on the note about Jeff the Killer, and seeing all these pictures of him shirtless, the many, many pictures of him shirtless, and all the emo boys and girls back in the good old 2010s where we decided to dress up as Jeff the Killer because we're anarchists and rebels and it's edgy and it's the thing to do and it's so disturbing and cool at the same time. I'm letting out my personal demons here, guys. I remember one time, though, I did try to make a Jeff the Killer story, but it didn't work for obvious reasons. But, I've seen so much stuff on Jeff, and, he's one of the first creepypastas that I fell in love with. So I will always hold that into my heart. And I even based some stuff off him. I'm not saying what, because it's part of a project that I'm holding, and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it, and I'm so excited. There's also Smile Dog. And people also like to make Smile Dog this stuff. Yeah, Smile Dog is... I don't know why people think Smile Dog is Jeff the Killer's pet. Some people like to make art of him with Jeff. And it's I get it. I get, the boy and their dog story. I get that. But Jeff and Smile have nothing related to each other, if any at all. And I know people always thought, YN going into some mansion and discovering the creepypasta characters and they all live together in perfect harmony and all this. And I've always thought that was so weird in fan fiction. It's could you imagine just having this big old mansion with every single serial killer, horror character, paranormal creature living in it? I mean, we're talking the Rake, Smile Dog, Slender Man, Sexual Offender Man, all those. Even Zalgo, which I still have yet to find his original story. But, could you just imagine? You just waltz in and you're like, hey, who's going to fall in love with me today? I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't. And, and I don't even think that even correlates. Because Jeff the Killer, he's not a proxy. He's a serial killer. Hence the name, Jeff the Killer. But Tiki, Toby, Masky, and Hoodie are all Slender's proxies. A proxy is something that's basically being a servant to this being, if that makes sense. It's kind of like the equivalent of the Slender stabbing. They thought they were proxies, and they just decided to kill some girl that they found. Which, she didn't die, thank God, but, I mean, that's what their plan was to kill her as a sacrifice to Slender Man. I still to this day wonder what went through their heads doing that, and why. I mean, the creepypasta fandom is just, they're wild. And I can remember being a part of it as a kid. And looking back on it, I sometimes look at myself and I think, wow, how were you so cringe growing up? Why were you so cringe? Why were you like this? There's also many videos made on YouTube of Jeff, including gotcha videos. I'm sure some of you know what gotcha is. Yeah, it's those creepy, weird, pornographic children's games that, for some reason, children like to explore their sexuality with. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, why a chibi game? I mean, I'm sure the game is cool. I'm not knocking the game or nothing, but it is weird. Some of the stuff on there is just bizarre. And Jeff the Killer being in the gotcha community is really no different. And I don't know, like, if Jeff the Killer is still popular in some tropes, like in middle school, high school, all that fun stuff, but I mean, for me, for an adult who basically grew up with Jeff the Killer is like, it's cool. And honestly, in a real life situation, Jeff would be dead. Like, he would have been burned alive. And if he did survive it, yeah, he would be deformed, but he wouldn't be albino. And him killing his parents and everything, that would have alerted the cops. He'd probably be on America's Most Wanted. I mean, just saying. He probably looked like this guy. Another side note, I know some people don't know this, but I'm actually, was a part of the TCC community. A long time ago, high school. My high school career was true crime. And I always watched this YouTuber by the name of Criminally Listed. And I just found out that the I-65 killer was just identified. So that was pretty good news. With everything, with technology always advancing, we're always going to be finding out these decades-long mysteries, and that's exciting. I'm sorry, enough with the side note. I'm going crazy here, people. But my favorite, something that I used to listen to was a Jeff the Killer rap. And it came out a long time ago. I knew every word to that. Every word. I memorized every word of that song and, like, engraved it into my skull. Kind of like Big Butts. Not going there. But I'm so happy about all this. Like, Jeff has always been, like, this big part of my life, my teenage years. I even tried to even look like him before in some stuff, but, like, not everything. And seeing all this stuff about him now and seeing, you know, what's become of the character. And some people say that he looks like somebody, like, what happens after meth. And it's like, do you not know the story? Do you not? Like, you can't help but look at people and think that. Oh, but some kids, so they don't care about the original story. They don't care about that. They just want a motorboat. They just want a motorboat Jeff. Oh, Lord, that reminds me of this fan fiction I once read, where Jeff... It's gonna get awkward. Jeff was, like, sprawled on a bed. There was something involved, and it was just... His area was deformed. I'm trying to say this without laughing, but it's really hard. So they used, like, a toy on him. I'll just say that. They put a toy on him, or in him, actually. In him. And they're so mean about it, too. Like, they're sitting there. You can tell, like, the author's into butt stuff and into, like, all this kinks. You can tell they're really kinky because they're just sitting there, oh, he's pathetic, he's stupid, pathetic. And that's, like, their favorite thing to say is pathetic. And, oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know why I read that story. But, like, I have read so many, like, Jeff the Killer fandoms, like, fan fiction. It's crazy. I've read so many. And I probably can quote some of them. And I can quote some of the stuff kids say about Jeff the Killer even now. But I remember there was this, like, weird little movie on a game about Jeff. And I can remember watching it at this local pizza place that we have. And I was like 14 years old watching this. And it was at the part where he like killed his parents. And this girl, I turn around, this girl's behind me and she's like, okay, I'm gonna walk away now. It was a girl about 2 years older than me and we were at the same church, but it was like, what is wrong with this girl? And I'm over here like, I can't help it. He's hot. He's a hot, sexy serial killer, okay? Leave me alone. I just want to get my serial killer action. Oh. One of these days, though, I will have to read the Jeff the Killer fan fictions. Like, I'll have to, because they're just so bizarre and just so weird. Ugh. I mean, you gotta love it, though. You really do. Okay, so I found this video, like this fake video, of this Jillian girl, Jillian Addy, that came out a year ago. And it's Jeff the Killer in our yard. It's like 12 minutes long. So I want to see like what today's youth seems to think of our favorite killer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, see, you can already tell this is going to be bad. Because it's just so random. You got this girl just reading a book and then just some guy's like, go to sleep. For all we know, it could be her dad.
Go to sleep.
Party City or just some grocery store. Oh my word. We got ourselves dollar store Jeff the Killer right here.
Look at this dude.
Addie! What? There's someone at the door. I think it's Jeff the Killer.
So in this universe, do the girls know who Jeff is? What?
I think it's Godzilla. No, not Godzilla. Jeff the Killer.
Really?
Isn't Godzilla's name Jeff? No, his name's Godzilla. Well, actually, it's Godzilla. But that's besides the point. Just go to the door. But I'm watching TikTok videos.
What? Why was she waving her head like that?
You're always watching TikTok videos. And besides, wouldn't having an appearance of Jeff the Killer make a great TikTok video?
Oh, for the love of Almighty. Oh, please tell me they're not going to do what I think they're going to do. Please tell me they're not going to make Jeff featured in a TikTok video. Do not make Jeff do a Fortnite dance. I will literally end the video. Do not.
Or a YouTube video for that matter. Be careful, Addie. He is a killer after all.
Is Jeff the Killer invisible sometimes?
No, at least I don't think he is.
He's gone.
Let me see. Jeff, where'd you go? Oh no, now you don't believe me. My credibility as a big sister is shot.
That ship left the port a long time ago.
Ooh, shots fired. Ah!
He really was out there, Addie. You just have to believe me.
I believe you, but who is this Jeff the Killer anyway?
Really? You don't know who he is? He's a pretty big internet meme. I have no idea what you're talking about. Please explain Jeff the Killer in an exhaustive detail.
So then these girls like go off on like this Jeff the Killer journey and like the whole story which she tells in the most weirdest detail possible.
Well, he's kind of a creepypasta like Slenderman or Siren Head.
No! Slender Man is a creepypasta. Siren Head is by Trevor Henderson. Not a creepypasta. There's a difference.
Ooh, so he has great search engine optimization. His real name is Jeffrey Woods. He was a teenager who got bullied too much. Are you implying that there is a certain degree of bullying that is acceptable? It went a little beyond bullying. He got set on fire and it burned off his eyelids. Boy, that escalated quickly. That's why his eyes are so big, and then he cut his mouth to make his smile really wide. Ouch, why would he do that? Because it's creepy, and the bullying had driven him mad, but he escaped from a mental institution.
No. See what I mean? This is why kids need to pay attention to things. That's not the story. Dadgummit, man. That's not the story.
Hey, at least you got out. Happy ending, right? No, Addie. He roams the countryside looking for revenge. I didn't bully him. Do you think that matters to someone named Jeff the Killer?
So what they're saying is Jeff the Killer's basically Bubba from Texas Chainsaw. That's basically what they're implying, is that Jeff the Killer's Leatherface. Boy, imagine that.
You said his name is Jeffrey Woods. I wonder if he's related to James Woods.
Go to sleep.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? No, I just heard someone saying go to sleep. That's actually not bad advice. I'm really tired. But don't you see, Addie? That's what Jeff the Killer says. That's kind of a weird catchphrase, right? I mean, go to sleep, yeah, that'll teach those bullies. Just go look out the window. Is he there this time? I doubt it. Ah! Jeff the Killer!
Try to be a little more, fear-inducing instead of the most blandest way you could show fear. Just try.
So do you believe me now, Addie? Do you believe me? I never didn't believe you. That was never the issue. So what are we gonna do, Addie? This guy's not going away. Hey, he's out there. We're in here. I don't see what the problem is. Oh, well, the problem is that there's someone at our door named Jeff the Killer. But he's just a person, right? He doesn't have any, supernatural abilities, he can't, fly down our chimney or something? Jeff has many powers, each one more thrilling and amazing.
Who, Jeff Bezos? We're not talking about the founder of Amazon, we're talking about
A homicidal maniac. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Anyway, you have to watch out for Jeff because he carries a knife. I didn't see him with a knife. I don't think weapons are even allowed in videos anymore. Jeff also possesses superior strength. You mean he could just, rip our doors off or just walk right through the wall? He could, if he wanted to, but that would be mean.
Yes, and somebody who wields a knife and literally kills people, yeah, that's not mean at all. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's just basic humanity. I mean, he must be a humanitarian if he's going to be like that. But breaking through doors and busting through walls, walking through them, that's mean. That's really mean.
Jillian, he's a killer. He's already mean. Oh my gosh, you're right. What should we do, Addie? That's what we're trying to figure out. What other capabilities does he have? He's supposed to have super speed. That shouldn't be a problem. You're pretty quick.
You're telling me this guy is Sonic? Is he Sonic now? What is Jeff? What are they making Jeff out to be? What is this?
Used to could, but I haven't been right since the scissor to the knee incident. I was being sarcastic anyway. What else can he do?
Ooh, why'd you turn
yeah,
southern
super
there?
stealth.
Super stealth? What's that? Where'd you go, Jillian? Super stealth. Wow, that was pretty impressive. Where'd you go now? Super stealth.
Go to sleep.
He's still not leaving, Addie. I'm gonna go give that Jeff a piece of my mind. So is it time? Let's go to the window. He's gone, but we heard him.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Okay, in situations like this, it's time to take a gun and call the cops. Well, I mean, I know they're kids, but like, call the cops. If you see somebody that you don't know creeping outside your house, call the cops. It's not that hard.
I think he got into the house. Time to go stand in the doorway. Ah, Jeff the Killer! How did he get in the house, Addie? Take your pick. Super strength, stealth. I left the front door wide open. Why, you little... No, let's not play the blame game. We have to decide what we're gonna do about this guy. Did you see his hand behind his back, Addie? I bet he brought that knife. Maybe it's a nice surprise. He didn't want us to see it after all. He's called Jeff the Killer, not Jeff the Surprise Giver. Well, killing is a form of surprise. Not when you're named Jeff the Killer, it isn't. You said the bully set him on fire, right? We are not setting him on fire.
So then these girls run into Jeff, and Jeff's inside their house with a hand behind his back, and the girls are sitting there arguing about whether or not Jeff is trying to give them a gift or kill them.
No, but he might be afraid of fire. We're not doing anything involving fire. Well, you said he has no eyelids, so I bet bright lights bug him, right? Ah, I see where you're going with this. With the flip of a light switch, no more Jeff. Oh, I thought we were gonna do something involving lasers.
You have a light switch on in your house. That should be enough right there. Again, just call the police. Like, seriously, instead of going through all this, just call the freaking police.
All right, Jeff, this is your last chance to walk away peacefully. Get him, Addie.
Shoot, go away, Jeff.
He's a killer. He's a human. He's not a roach.
Well, that didn't work very well. All right, Jeff, I'm gonna turn off the light for now. He's still just standing there, Addie. Ah! He's not just standing there!
So, we're facing the most cunning and sinister killer of all time.
And your idea was to flip a light switch on and off? It worked in that movie Lights Out. No, it didn't, Addie. That lady died. Don't worry. We have lots of experience defeating these creepypastas. Ooh, we defeated Siren Head by singing. Jeff looks kind of emo. He might like music. No one likes our singing. How'd we get rid of Cartoon Cat? We dissolved him with nail polish remover. What? People bought that? 2.1 million and counting. I think we used up all the nail polish remover on Cartoon Cat anyway. Ooh, he cut his mouth, right? Yeah, what do you want us to do? Give him a band-aid? No, a glass of orange juice. Man, would that sting. Yeah, the orange juice is in the kitchen and Jeff's standing between us and the kitchen right now, so, no. How about lemon juice? Kitchen. Tomato juice? Kitchen. Salt water? Kitchen. I can do this all day. How about we take away his knife? Great idea. Go do that. Aw, I thought it was your turn to do something. No, I turned on and off the light switch last time. That was so risky. Actually, that circuit doesn't even have a GFI. Hey, if we get him to use the knife, then it will become dull and it will be rendered ineffective. You want him to use the knife? Yeah, get out there, Stabby McStabberson. No. Why don't we just try talking to the guy? It's worth a try. All right, Jeff, whatever you got behind your back, drop it. You heard the woman, drop it! Addie, that's not a knife, that's the chicken! Why would Jeff the Killer be holding a chicken? I don't know, companionship? Jeff, get out of here and take your stupid chicken with you! Ah, if the chicken's a therapy pet, it's not working! Got your weapon? Jillian, look! Ugh. Get him! He wasn't so tough. Yeah, who's the chicken now?
Alright, well that's enough of that video, considering that in the end it kind of looks like their dad shows up and is like talking to them about this whole thing, and then they like insert in all their credentials. But just so people know, I wasn't bullying on the kids, I wasn't making fun of the kids. What they did was actually pretty cool and interesting. Also, at least the worst of the worst didn't happen, and Jeff was not involved in a TikTok dance, and that would have really traumatized me to find out that that had happened. Sorry guys, I had to come in here. But if you did like my video, I figured this would probably be it. It was just a little thing about Jeff. But if you did like this video, be sure you hit the like button. Also, be sure you subscribe, because I'm still trying to get up to 300. So let's keep it going from there. Also, be sure you guys check out my other pages, as I've got a lot more fun stuff going on. And also be sure you check out Snownado. Be sure you keep that in mind. Read the rest of my stories. And I guess aside from that, I will see you guys next time. And remember, this isn't goodbye forever. It's just goodbye for now. I love you, little androids, and God bless.
Suffering fire, so I die another way, kill is my desire. I come right at you with the blade towards your eye and stab you 16 times until you frickin' die. Screw the cost, man, you'll never catch me, so you better watch out when you go to sleep. La 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 la